just got done with lunch out at Gold Beach, and now we're at a beach, and it's super windy. So yeah, I can yell as much as I want and no one can care because they can't hear me. You see? Parasailers, way down there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And look at these rocks. Rocks. Those are crazy. Like, look. Holy cow. They're huge. And there's birds around. And it's kind of funny because the seagulls, they're like trying to fly and then they get sucked in the wind. And then they just kind of sit there or even fly backwards. It is so dang cold, the wind. Holy cow. But yeah, it's all nice and sandy, and then you have your grasses up there, which are super pretty. Very nice coast. Welcome to the Oregon coast. It's like this every day, except it's usually more cloudy and raining sometimes at the beach. You don't think about that at a beach. But yeah, that's what a beach does. Also, beach, probably the worst place to vlog ever, because you should never turn your back to the sea. But that's exactly what I'm doing. Only professionals can do that. And me being an Oregonian, I know what real ocean is and what it can do to you. Like, I went to the Gulf of Mexico last summer, and the Gulf has puny waves and stupid beaches. Now, if you just want warm water, it's perfect. If you want something more beach-like or for surfing, this is what you want. But also, these waves have the power to kill you. So, welcome to Oregon. I found a rock. And it's still loud, but it literally, the wind is so loud and there's so much wind that it sounds like what the mic sounds like when it picks up wind. The sand's blowing everywhere. The water was even blowing at one point. Tips for shooting in the wind and sand and water and stuff. If you're vlogging, if you want audio, do not be in the wind. Now, I'm totally going against this rule because it's a vlog. But if you want better audio, do not go where everything else around you is so loud that you have to scream at the top of your lungs. Like this. You hear it? This is not what to do, okay? Number 2, don't shoot with the glide cam as your stabilizer. It'll be all over the place and it's just dead weight. It's twice the weight of your camera and you can't even use it for anything. So, and that's actually why I've stopped using the glide cam like pretty much completely anymore, and I'm looking for a new stabilizer. With the ocean, you have to watch out for waves is number 1, and number 2 is tides if you're out there long enough, because the tides will change and you don't want to be back somewhere where you can get trapped. Also, your camera. If you're shooting on a T7i like me, or one of the lower end cameras, it does not have weather sealing, which what that means is it will protect your camera from 1, rain, and 2, sand. What do we have right here? Water and sand. Perfect condition. Your camera might be weather sealed. Your lens might not. So also keep that in mind. Also, your mic might blow off. Like mine is flopping around all over the place. You don't want to be losing your mic in 100-mile-an-hour winds. Also, don't want to be losing yourself. Your life comes first, not the camera. As much as you think the camera does, if you don't exist, your camera is pointless, okay? My camera is getting some water on it, shooting next to the water, and sand on it, all over it. We are using our equipment where it shouldn't be. Nailed it. This is like perfect conditions of what not to do. So definitely don't do this if you want your stuff to last a long time. Like, you might get sand or water in the sensor area. You don't want that. Then you get little smudges and everything all over your shots. No. Big no. Just trying to keep under this rock away from the big gusts of wind. If you don't have a stabilizer that's really low to the ground, get a battery grip, because a battery grip is 20 bucks. You can replace that. Your $700 camera, your $6,000 camera, you can't replace that as easily as a $20 battery grip, okay? So if you're in the sand, you can set your camera in the sand and still get that really low shot and not worry about your camera getting buried or some port or something getting sanded up. So also with water, if you put your hand right on the bottom of the battery grip, you can have your hand be touching the water, but no more. Don't submerge your hand and you'll be perfectly fine. If you end up submerging your hand, it's gonna be okay, but it just tells you should pull your camera up so then you don't get your camera wet, okay? But that battery grip gives that like 2 inches difference. If it does get wet, it's not gonna kill you, where if you just put your regular hand, there's a bug. Go away, bug. Because if you just have your hand underneath the main camera body, if it comes up a few millimeters above where you thought it would, then your camera might be toast. It might get into that battery area, ruin the battery, corrode it all. You don't want that. So keep your hand under the battery grip and you'll be A-okay. So yeah, tips for shooting in wind and water, really low down, and just practical stuff so you don't kill yourself or have everything turn out like horrible. Also, a really good stabilizer for this sort of stuff is your camera strap, actually, because you hold the camera one hand on bottom and one hand on the side of your camera body, and then you have the strap and you pull it against your neck, and there you go, stabilized. Even though the wind might be ripping all over, your camera will be at least mostly smooth. So yeah, there's your tips for shooting in this horribleness of Oregon beaches. Ow, sand hit me in the face. It's actually really nice because it's sunny, but it's so windy and so dang cold. I'm getting pelted with sand, my neck, ow. Another good stabilizer is like a gorilla pod sort of thing. You know the bendy tripods? Those things. I don't have one. I want to get one. But those would be good too, because those are also handheld, and you can also just put out the legs, and there you go. You're set for down here. And if that gets wet, it's okay. Another tip is putting your mic as close as possible to you. I'm not doing that right now because I don't want the mic to get ripped out of my hands, and I don't think I have an extension cord for it either. But yeah, that's another thing you can do for better audio. Watch out when you're switching your lenses, because if you point it at the wind, like the wind's coming from this way, wind will blow the sand into the sensor when you're switching it out. So in my case, I need to have the camera be facing this way, so the sand comes from here and comes this way and bypasses the sensor, and you should be fine. Tip for switching lenses. Also, your lenses will get very crapped up with sand. Mine's filled up with sand on it. If you just wipe it off normally, like with your shirt or something, there's a chance you might scratch the lens, or if you have a filter, it might scratch the filter. You don't want that. You don't want to spend another $50 to $200 on another filter. You don't want to spend $200 to thousands of dollars on a new lens because just sand got on the glass. No. You take your glasses cleaner and your little your nano weave, whatever the heck it is anymore, cleaner thing, and wipe it off clean. Make sure you get all the sand. Maybe do it twice so you get sand off once and then you actually clean it. Besides for just keeping it like facing the opposite way of where the wind's coming, also like maybe keep it in your sweatshirt area or something, because I mean, if it's this cold, you're definitely gonna have a sweatshirt, but it's also gonna be like a little break. You can like protect it right here. So yeah, Also, when putting on your caps for your lenses too, you might want to do that, like just right away. Keep it all protected. You're in the sand now, and the screen's actually getting covered up by sand. That's kind of funny. So you're gonna want to, like, there's gonna get sand in here, and so then you're gonna just want to do this a bunch of times. You're just gonna want to get all that sand out of it. Yeah. And you should see right now this setup. I'm gonna grab my phone real quick. This is what the phone looks like. Yeah, this is exactly what not to do. Let's take you out of the sand, get all that sand off. Holy cow. You're gonna wanna get some good wipes and get all your stuff cleaned off of all the sand once you're done shooting. Yeah, this is just crazy. I should probably put it away before I ruin everything anymore. Same with buttons on your camera, like the on-off button if you're switching in between video and picture mode like I have on the T7, that if you have it open at one part, sand will get in there, and then if you turn it off or something, then it'll shove the sand under. You don't want that either. So it's just, sand is just a whole lot of bad, and you should just get weather sealed, but also I know what it's like to be on a budget. Last tip is keep your shooting short. I've already shot for way too long. There's sand everywhere on it, and that's not good for the equipment. And if your camera's broken, your camera's broken, and you're screwed. Just keep your shooting short and get out so your stuff doesn't get ruined. I'm heading back right now. How to shoot in windy sand. Don't do it. Don't ruin your stuff. Just go when it's not windy. If you have to shoot in the wind and sand, hopefully this video can help you. Enjoy the B-roll. See you in the next place. Stayed the night in Crescent City. There's not really much there, so you didn't miss anything. And that's just going down the side of the coast there, and then into California. And in California, it's California. I miss my Oregon. Oregon, why do you have to leave? We're in California now. And then we went over to Eureka and went through the Redwoods. I actually was on the window, like hanging out of the window of the truck here, getting shots from there. And then we also got to visit great-grandparents in Eureka, and who knows, it might be the last time we get to see them. They're in their 90s. I think they're about 90 now. They're good people. It's nice to see them another time. And then we also got to see our grandpa, which our grandma didn't come over because she's in pain right now. She has bunch of stuff going on with her hip and other stuff, so we didn't get to see her this time. Another time though. And then we went on from there. I drove a bunch, which was fun. We got to go on fun roads, not stupid straight highways that you pop it in cruise control and keep on going. No, it was actually driving around. I did put it in cruise control once, so yeah, that's the kind of roads that we were on. And the roads are different up here, like over here in the northwest. The speed limits are much more reasonable, and the recommended speeds are like on point most of the time. The only place where the speed limits aren't like great are like the highways, and that's kind of expected not even all the highways, just some highways, like in Salem, that area, that some of the Oregon highways. Oregon likes to use their default 55 miles an hour on there, and then no one follows that. Everyone goes way over. It doesn't matter, everyone drives the road or the temperature, not the speed limit. Where I've been living, the speed limit is so low, and the recommended, there's like no recommendeds anywhere, and the recommendeds are just like super stupid. Like you could go like 10 over the recommended, it'd still be fine around a corner. The roads too, I'm not crazy. When we came in from Idaho, it was like right before we hit Oregon in Idaho, the roads, how like the material they use completely changed, and I noticed that when I moved, where when we got off the plane and we were driving, I was like, the roads feel different here. And then now finally being back in Oregon, I can guarantee it, the roads are different. So they do something different with the roads that's just kind of weird observation. If you didn't catch the other vlogs, there's a billion of them, I guess, but there's probably like 5 or 7 or something. I don't know how many, I haven't been keeping track. Thanks for sticking around, and hopefully you enjoyed them and the tips and the scenery and the b-roll and everything. So thanks for watching. Go check out other stuff. Hope for more vlogs in the future. Hey, bye.